예, 안녕하세요.
Good
워크
afternoon.
문영민입니다.
My name is Moon Young-min
오늘의
from
주제는
Merck.
인더스트리
The
4.0을 위한
topic
디지털
is convergence
트랜스포메이션
of
중의
key
구조물인 야발
technologies
방향입니다.
enabling digital transformation
현재의
toward the
바이오파마
Industry
디지털
4.0.
트랜스포메이션 트렌드와
Nowadays, we
팩토리
have
퓨처
the digital
컨셉 고도상에
transformation
대해서
trend,
자세히
and
살펴보실 수
we would
있도록
like to
하겠습니다.
talk about the
네,
factory-related
우선
issues.
큰
Then I
박수
would like to
부탁드리겠습니다.
introduce Mintran with a big round of applause.
Thank you, Young Man. So good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be back in Korea after 4 years post-pandemic. So one thing we introduce a little bit about myself. So I come with around 28 years of experience in both process development and manufacturing operations. Again, as part of this transitions, I'm now heading the digital transformation for Merck, supporting the bio automation and also data analytics portfolio for Merck. So again, one thing is having face-to-face interaction. We don't have to worry about unmuting a microphone, right? So please share your questions and I will address them whether live or through the email. So the agenda today is a high-level overview of some of the trends, some of the expectations from a regulatory agency, and also with the aspect of having to be able to transition from more of a paper-based, more of a structured process into more of a digitized process. So there are convergence in the industry, and I will go through that with you. So how do we prepare for the new paradigm, right? The factory of the future. This is a very high-level concept. When you talk about factory of the future, before we talking about implementation of single-use connected processing, now factory of the future also involve a lot of automation and a lot of digital solution. Regarding data management, PAT, which is process analytical technologies, and then online monitoring itself. So with that part, it's basically you have a lot of analytics capabilities, digital capabilities that you need to be able to plan for ahead of time. So through this, Merck has started this biocontinuum platform which support the digital transformation for industry. We recognize the improved requirements for efficiency and productivity. Not only that, but also as you can see that a lot of the regulatory agency is online review of data now with virtual BLA inspections, BLI support. So even the FDA has the Digital Transformation Office now. So how do we consider this? As part of this state today, we are somewhere in this batch to batch, right, process. We're transitioning towards the intensified connected processing, particularly on upstream with use of perfusion-based or high-density cell culture application. For downstream, we also applying connected multi-column chromatography steps and also inline viral inactivation steps. In the future, it's all about PAT technology and managing your process through automated control. So with that, the transition enabling PAT and digital solution will be converging. What that means is that you have to have an orchestration layer, which is part of your automation architecture, combined with your process analytical technologies around your PAT. And then lastly, but very importantly, how you manage that data, right? You have a lot of data. Your central server, your data from QC, your LIMS systems, you have data from process development, you have data from your process and machine data, from your manufacturing operation. So how do we leverage that data effectively and more efficiently? So some of the technologies I want to introduce to you today is around software applications and how we manage the data, along with the automation architecture and PAT solution. So as you know, Bioprocessing 4.0, as part of the digital plant maturity model, a lot of the companies are still in the very early stage of adopting digital solution, right? What I mean was a lot of the automation knowledge is still residing with the big companies, right? The global companies have more investment into process engineer, automation support has to be a very key part of setting up this Bioprocessing 4.0 platform. Along with that, as you can see that there are numerous opportunities around PAT technology. Just imagine 5 years ago, we did not have any self-driving car, right? In the automotive industry, many advancement has been made in 5 years. Look at the different car models that have all the sensors. Autonomous driving is possible, right? You have in aviation, even 10 years ago, a lot of the aviation technology has been adapted to having automation involved. But in biopharmaceutical, we are very lagging behind because of the nature of our work and also the very regulated environment, because we're working with live cells, we're working with proteins, various regulatory agencies that we have to meet. So how do we transition this, right? From simple offline measurements 3 to 4 times a day to full online PAT technology where you have a full process data set to submit to the agency. So that's where we need to transition. Along with that, that has to be increased development in PAT technology, also the data analytics. So how will we manage this? So at Merck, we have invested a lot in supporting the process through the orchestration level. At the very base level is through the Raman analyzer, which is basically monitoring your critical control parameters and your quality attributes with one sensors, right? So you're able to detect not only your total cell density, viable cell density, your analytes, and also your product titer. But there are some work to be done with the adoption of PAT technologies. Collectively, what we have for data management is ProcessPad, which enable you a data management platform that allows you to link all the data within your plant, within your site, and be able to share that data, whether you are CMO or CDMO with your client, and also for your internal stakeholders. So thus, we have what we call at Merck the Bio4C suite, which consists of control, connect, collect, and collaborate. So these are the key pillars for us as driving into the Industry 4.0. Again, in our booth, we have the ProCellix PAT technologies for inline real-time monitoring. We also have online information and videos on ProcessPad, which is our data collections platform and data management for data analytics. And then orchestration is our automation platform that we can support. So each of the product, I want to spend a few minutes here to go through each of the product that may be consideration for your evaluation at this time. I think some of these will also dependent on your process. But for sure, we have our MLab in Songdo that we have these technologies in place already. So you're welcome to visit the MLab, schedule a demo, whether it's in person or on site. So prosthetic systems here we have integrated this technology into our bioprocessing technologies as part of our digital transformation for PAT. It's a very robust systems which leverage the use of using a laser light to activate the water molecule and identifying the fingerprint of each of those molecules. So with water as a background, you're able to have sort of like a fingerprint of the water molecule, and the way it bends in the activated mode with the laser light, you're able to identify and quantify the molecule itself. So within the spectra itself, you can identify, let's say, within the media, you have the baseline of the water, but then you also can identify different entity, whether it's glutamine, glutamate, glucose, from one sensor. So before, we had to take all of that information offline, run it through your BGA, run it through your blood gas analyzer, your CDEX, or your ViCell for the cell counts, right? So now you can do that inline. So how it works is you have your laser system. You'll generate the laser, go through your vessel or product. Then it feeds back and interpret the Raman spectra to your software. So this is something that you have to develop a model for your process, right? So it depends whether it's upstream, downstream. Anything is quantifiable within the measuring band of the software itself. So you can perform real-time inline monitoring simultaneously for multiple parameters. So imagine let's say even now, we've been taking a lot of offline samples, right? So let's say at the beginning of the day, middle of the day, end of the day. So 3 samples, right? So you only see 3 time points of your process. So it's getting 3 photos or 3 pictures a day of your process. But with this technology and the PAT software, you're able to see at any time what's happening in your process. So you're getting, instead of 3 pictures, you're getting a full movie with sound and everything, right? So with that, you can also monitor how well your process is for scale up and also process control. So with this, here's examples, and I have some, and at the end of the slide deck, I have some case study in which we've done already for upstream. We're also working with Agilent on developing technology for downstream applications and sensors. But ideally, you can have all this parameter quantify for your process as part of your process parameters, and also look at product quality attributes. So HCP, glycosylations, and protein titer can be done. Of course, there are limitations, right? It has to be a real molecule, right? You try not to detect something that doesn't exist. And it has to have some certain concentration. So what that means is also limited by your offline measurement, how sensitive your offline measurement is, right, at that time, because you're gonna match the spectra based on your offline measurement for quantitation of your product or your analyte. And there has to be, of course, you have to have a reference document, reference measurement available, which is part of the model building. So the model building, the chemometric model is part of the software that you can build within. So hence, you're able to measure multiple parameters in line and also have excellent selectivity of your product or analyte. So some of the key benefits here, of course, it's scalable. It can be adapted to small scale, to large scale, and you're able to extract a lot more data with reduced number of offline measurement and sampling. So here you're able to do the modeling. And at the end of the day, with any solutions, you have to think about the user interface, right? How easy it for the end user to adopt. Make sure that it's very user-friendly so people can use it more effectively on the production floor. So ProcessPad is about managing data, right? So it's a browser-based platform that enables you to expand to multiple facilities, all your data from different various structure, right? You have your paper-based batch records information, you have your machine data, and then you have your external database from your LIMS that can be pulled through ProcessPad and then do your data analytics and real-time monitoring with various parts. And then this comes fully Part 11 CFR compliance, and then it really meets the new requirement for the regulatory agency around continued process verification, or CPV, right? So if you're part of the MSAT team or quality team, a lot of work around process scale-up, tech transfer, annual product quality reports. It's a lot of work for all the team members. This, you can create regular reports, whether it's weekly report, you can do trending analysis all in one. So what we can do is support data archiving, process monitoring, and data analysis, and then report sharing, especially if you're a CDMO. You can share the data with the client, right, on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, have that automatically approved internally, and then share with particular client, maybe on a global level. And that could be turned as a service, right? Data management and reporting has been used as a service beyond what you typically provide. If you typically provide a weekly report, but the client wants daily updates. So how do you manage that? Well, it's an extra service if you want to be done daily, right? And you can manage that data sharing with your client through ProcessPad. So some of the key highlights here is meant to be off the shelf. So interacting with a central server, many clients have different IT infrastructure, so we have to do an analysis of what the client has. And then, but the key point here is a very flexible licensing model. We want to drive this Industry 4.0. So we want to make sure that it has unlimited number of user products and external connections, right? So one license will cover for your plant. Again, ease of use is the key. As far as managing data, having very competent end user experience, you have to have a very user-friendly product. And that's part of it. For the deployment, it's around 6 to 8 weeks, depends on, it has external connections or network that needs to be done, and it's a scalable modules that can be adopted. So lastly, I want to talk such very high level on automation, right? So the process orchestration. So it's about having a solution where you can have live process monitoring for your plant, dashboard, remote viewing, visualizations that can be done. It's very important because not very few companies can go from step 0 all the way to a fully integrated plant with Delta V and other platforms, right? Because you have to define what you need. So this allows you to have that early definition without committing a full-blown delta V MES SCADA system where it takes you years and years to implement. So with this, we're able to integrate. It's a purpose-built automation platform that accelerates your digital transformation, right? So you have a good basic automation architecture that is well-defined and be centrally connected to your bioprocessing systems, whether it's from Merck or third party. And we're able to control your recipe management and also, again, the dashboard and monitoring of your process itself. So here is what we need to do is think about, always think about having the ability to be more efficient, how to drive efficiency from the different level, whether it's data management, whether it's operation, and access to your process information, right? So you can, again, it's purposely built so you can import, export recipes. You have user management also to be able to drive a lot of these information beyond just your manufacturing or operation process. You're able to share effectively the information and the data remotely with other stakeholders. So some of the key things here, as you can see, that we're consistently trying to have more of a tailored solution for biopharmaceutical instead of having apply a generic software to try to achieve the digital transformation. We have purpose-built automation architecture, data analytics, and then again, PAT technologies. So for this, you will be able to transition seamlessly before you invest heavy resources into a full automation site-wise architecture. So for the conclusion that I want to give to everyone as a take-home message is definitely it is the very beginning of the digital transformation and the facility of the future as part of Industry 4.0. Definitely there's a lot of convergence on not only PAT, automation, and data analytics, but some of these also need your direct input, right? So Merck has been working on these solutions for quite a while, but we also want to make sure that we adapt to the industry needs. So whether you're looking at PCA analysis or MVDA for your data analysis or root cause analysis, you're able to adopt the Nelson rules as part of your studies. We're able to be flexible to work with the individual clients to make that adjustment, right? So we also want to make sure that, online PAT and real-time data analytics, we know that it's going to be a key driver to future platforms, particularly around process efficiency, robustness, and product quality, right? Because you want to be able to be proactive in monitoring and controlling your process versus reactive after you get the data that has been maybe a few hours old already by the time you get the information. So again, no worries. The future will depend very much on the people, right? I have questions where do I foresee a plant where there's no people? I don't think that's going to happen within my lifetime or probably your lifetime at this point, because we deal with very complex products and very complex process. So again, people, process, and data will be invaluable asset as we move forward to this digital transformation, right? So biomanufacturing 4.0, Industry 4.0, it's sort of like single use 10, 15 years ago, right? Now everyone's very comfortable with single-use systems and technologies. There are also challenges, right? We anticipate, but I think the regulatory agency is well aware of this transformation that we need to have as part of better control, more adaptive manufacturing in the future, right? So that's why the FDA and regulatory agency have a digital center for managing remote inspections, data review, more timely data submission. So that's where we need to be in the future. All right, so that's the end of my talk. So at this time, I can open up for questions. And then please take a minute to fill out the survey form and then also submit your questions. We have team members here. You can also help you with that. Okay, thank you very much.
Once again, please give a big round of applause to Mr. Tran, and thank you very much for all the participation. And I hope you find this session informative. Due to the limited time, we were not able to cover all the questions, but you can fill out the feedback form on your table. Then we can provide the email with the answer. And if you submit your feedback form, then we will give you the souvenir as a token of appreciation. And we also will use your feedback form as a future reference. So please submit your feedback form. And in Mark Process Solution, we set up the booth on the first floor. So you can visit the booth and you can have a consultation with the experts. If you do not have the evaluation form, we will pass over the form. So please raise your hand, then we'll go to you. With this, we would like to conclude the session. I wish you good health and have a nice day.